Hey, everybody. On this episode, I have Brian and Stephanie Hughes talking about the new virtual sales manager offering from BizDev Mastermind. Listen in.
Welcome to the Property Management Mastermind Show with your host, Brad Larson. Brad owns one of the fastest growing property management companies in San Antonio, Texas. This podcast is for property managers by property managers. You'll hear from industry-leading professionals on best practices, new ideas, success stories, and lessons learned. This is your opportunity to learn about the latest industry buzz surrounding property management, as well as tips and strategies to improve your business.
Are you running your own business, or is it running you? Simply put, it all starts with a plan. And without a plan to succeed, you're planning to fail. That's where Steve Rosenberg comes in. He'll help you design a plan that works. From marketing, sales, and operations to social media management and learning how to build lifelong relationships, Steve Rosenberg will help you develop a blueprint for success for your business and your life. Learn from keynote speakers Brad Lee, Iron Cowboy, Dr. Kelvin Elko, Errol Allen, and so many more. Steve Rosenberg will help identify and market your core customer so you can spend more time running your business the way you've always envisioned. Visit steverosenberg.com and start investing in the person you know you need to be.
Imagine a world where the phone doesn't ring, but tenant leads still get pre-qualified and scheduled. Where in-person showings get coordinated automatically in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Where occupants and owners are automatically notified of showings and leasing reports. Or imagine, no one has to show your rentals, and they get leased faster than ever, safely and securely. That's the world of Tenant Turner. Come learn more about our beautiful scheduling software and world-class customer support. Call us 888-976-4638 or visit www.tenantturner.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Property Management Mastermind Show. I'm your host, Brad Larson. Now, today's guest, I have Brian and Stephanie Hughes here from BizDev Mastermind. Hello. All right, gang, I think this is going to be a fantastic interview because I got to give you some background first, and then we can get into it. And so today I brought Brian and Stephanie on. I want to give full disclosure as well because Brian used to work for RentWorks. We brought him into the system 4 or 5 years ago. He killed it as a business development manager for my company, RentWorks in San Antonio. And I knew he was so good that he's either going to leave me or we need to develop something more at the next level for him to dive into. So we helped him create the BizDev Mastermind. And then for some reason, Stephanie married this guy. And so now they're both into the BizDev Mastermind, and they are absolutely killing it because I can't think of a better scenario where you have a husband and wife working together to build your business to help you. So we have hired Brian and Stephanie to help RentWorks in several factions. They put a new business development manager inside of San Antonio, and we're working on one in Austin now, and it's challenging. We're going to talk a lot about that because it's not just a snap of the fingers and you can get it done. So we're going to dive into that. In addition to their new offering, the virtual sales manager, business development sales manager as well, to what they're doing in the BizDev Mastermind. And so I talked a lot about that. I wanted to give a quick intro, but I'm going to give Brian and Stephanie a few minutes to introduce themselves. So Brian, you get first dibs because you're the longest, so you get to go.
All right, awesome. Yes, I definitely lucked out. Stephanie's locked in now. She's married. She's part of the business. She's in it. But yeah, thanks for that intro. Like you said, I started out in business development, with RentWorks and helping you guys outdoors. So everything we do really comes from a place of experience, having done it, and having sat in that seat. Today we help property managers hire and train business development managers. We have a new offering, which, like you mentioned, we're going to go through the virtual sales manager. We're really excited to be here, and also want to introduce, like you mentioned, my wife Stephanie, who does the hiring side of things. We're excited to be here.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Stephanie. Super excited to be here. I came on board with BizDev back in March of 2021, so about a year and a half. Before then, I was in the hotel industry. I've been in sales for over 10 years. So, super excited, and I really do love being in the property management industry. Just everybody, learning from everybody, and really excited to be here.
Tell me more, Stephanie, about the role that you have with the BizDev Mastermind as far as hiring.
Yes. So when a client hires us to find their business development manager, I complete the initial Zoom interview. So we screen all of the applicants. So we post the listing. We screen the applicants, see if they're a good candidate to interview. I conduct the initial interview, and then we go from there on if we would recommend the owner to interview them in person or via Zoom. So we do all the initial work, vetting them out and really, taking that hassle away so that way our clients can have more time, and that way we can offer our expertise on if this person would be a good fit.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with that, because you talked about a limited space of what you do, but there's a lot that goes into pre-hiring,
Yes.
Stephanie, because if I'm a management company and I'm charging 25% a minute to manage your home, no one's going to hire you no matter what kind of business development person you have. So that's part of what Brian and Stephanie do. Is Brian, this is more your role, but you're going to take a look at a company in the beginning and look at their overall value proposition. And that's where you may have recommendations for changes. You may have ideas. You might want to first set them up to be sellable, and then you can actually work to get a person on board that can sell their services.
Absolutely. Yeah, we certainly do that. And Stephanie's being modest with all the things that go into the hiring, because it is a ton of legwork. And I think that's something that separates us, is that we take that completely off your plate. You don't have to interview all of the frogs. We just give you, the final product of the people we think are going to be a great fit. But yeah, to your point, we certainly, if you're charging 25% a month management fee, it's going to be really tough to sell that. Doesn't matter who we hire or how well we train them. If your product and your processes and all of that are not set up correctly or not sellable, it's, we're fighting an uphill battle. So that is something that we talk about with clients in the beginning, is helping to develop their points of difference, why a potential client would want to work with them. And going through that conversation, we sometimes find out, wow, your pricing, we might need to take a look at that if you want to hit your growth goals, or, you guys are kind of doing what everyone else in the market is doing. So we want to help you develop some points of difference. So that's something that we start out with each client going through, is making sure they understand why a client wants to work with them. And if it's not something that can be easily, determined or communicated, we want to help them develop that.
Now, Stephanie, I want you to comment on this side, because developing the employment listing, the employment offering, is an art and a science. It is not, one size fits all for anything, because we're hiring a commission-driven mindset of a person who sets goals. So it's an art and a science, meaning you're going to offer some sort of salary, potentially in most scenarios, and then some sort of small or big, depending on the market, the commission size. And so how that works, I want you to comment on, because it's a pretty, delicate offering.
Absolutely. Yeah. So definitely the person that we're wanting is somebody who's driven, somebody who wants to grow, somebody obviously that wants to be in sales. So we really do try to make the listing to be directed to those types of people, but we also in the listing talk about the growth opportunity. So we talk about how this person will have ample training, how we give them the tools to be successful, because ultimately that's what everybody wants. We want this person to make those commissions. We want them to see the success. That way they're happy, and of course, add on more doors. So we really try to gear it towards the growth that this position will also see, and the ample training that they're going to have.
Yeah, a couple of things I do want to talk about next is our experiences with you guys, because once I cast you into the wilderness, Brian, as they say, and made you fend for yourself, I quickly turned around and hired you to bring on our business development managers in San Antonio, and we're going to talk through the challenges of Austin in two different markets. Now, in San Antonio, what we did, this is darn near going on this is 10, 11 months ago. Engaged with you guys, and you found us a really good business development manager named Will. I want you to kind of go through that process of what you've been doing with him.
Yeah. So Will has done an amazing job. He came from the world of Cutco, selling knives, and that's we've seen folks come from that industry and several other industries that we've seen fit really well for this role. But he came right in, and we got him right onto training with the CRM. We got him right onto going through the sales process, and really it's we put him through our training program. So at the beginning, we want them to understand the how the business works. They need to know the pricing, who's doing what the actual service is. And we really start from that foundation of them just understanding what the service is, and we start to build on top of that. So the first month is really just sales training, understanding the ins and outs of the role. And then as we continue to go through the training, we talk about content creation, we talk about prospecting. So not just, how to close the business, but also how to develop and generate new business. And I think that's something that is really important.
So Stephanie, if you can recall way back then, give me a little synopsis of the hiring process for Will at RentWorks in San Antonio.
Yeah, so when we were hired to, train to hire for San Antonio, it really did not take that long. I think it took maybe a month to find Will. And what really, caught our eye was that, like Brian said, he's in, that industry, and that industry is very commission driven. You generate your own leads. So that is definitely something that, that caught our eye with Will, and he was a leader in his industry. But yeah, so, I think that somebody like Will really likes these types of listings because it is commission driven, but we also offer, a base salary. So somebody that's been killing it in commissions, is going to, not be afraid of that, but they're going to see a base salary as, a bonus because they know that they can do it without it anyway. So yeah, it took us way back then, it took us about a month to hire in San Antonio. And, salaries do differ, but, in San Antonio, I know that, it's a great affordable place to live. So we do, had some wiggle room there as well.
Yeah. So very good stuff. Now let's talk about the production, right? And so Will has been killing it, but I want you to talk about some of his numbers he's been throwing up on the board, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's doing, I think his first month, he brought in 22 units in December, which is a tough on its own. And each month he's been killing it from there. He's been averaging 30 to 35 units each month. I believe in August they closed with 38 units. And it's amazing. I mean, one of the benefits that kind of he is having, not to toot our own horn, but we've done a good job of setting up the systems and the processes that consistently generate leads. So really, Will is taking all those processes and those processes we put in place that are generating leads, and he is just closing them one after another like gangbusters. So his goal for the end of this year is to bring on 400 units, and as of today, he is on track to do that. So it's been really great to see his success, and watching one BDM bring on 400 units. That's pretty dang impressive. I'm not seeing most out there doing that, so that's great to see.
Yeah, we're almost entering Q4, and he is 3/4 of the way there with his goal. And yeah, I can't be any happier than with what you guys have done with Will, because it's not just the developing of the listing and, okay, what are we going to pay in salary? What are we going to pay for commission? And then interviewing him and then finding him. Okay, that's a piece of it. That's challenging. But then also getting this person trained, getting them to be productive. And so this also leads into our next conversation, which we're going to have later on. But before we get into that, I want to talk about, I'm going to air some dirty laundry with the listeners, right? Because, we've engaged with you guys as well to hire our business development manager for a company in Austin that we merged with.
Sure.
And we have had some challenges. It's just been a tough market. You guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing, but it's just the market is not bringing us the candidates. So Stephanie, give us a few minutes to comment on that.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you, Brad. And I think that right now we're especially seeing with the last, I'd say like maybe 2-3 months, the candidate pool, and it's in a few different cities, are just not what we're wanting. So, definitely some things that we're doing are reaching out to real estate schools. We do have some BDMs that are, brand new real estate agents, and those types of people kill it because they're hungry. They want to be in the industry. So that's a strategy that we're starting to pick up, as well as, building those relationships with those schools. That way we can get our listing in front of those new real estate agents. But yes, it has been tough lately in some of the markets. It's just so competitive out there. Like Brian mentioned earlier, a lot of candidates want to do a hybrid. They want to work remote. They don't want to work a full 40 hours. It's definitely changed a bit. So those are kind of the things that we're, trying to work through.
Yeah, as I recall, so this as we've been developing this, we've had to raise our salary offering.
Yes.
We've gone through several candidates that looked good. We even engaged with one in writing, and then that person didn't work out. And so in the next few interviews, and we've just had some challenging folks. And I know I've been a tough hire. I mean, I will fully admit, you guys have put candidates in front of me, and I've just said nope. One example was a particular person had an insurance license, and I just felt too strongly that person would go sell insurance more than they would sell the RentWorks property management services. That may not be the case, but that was my gut feeling as the employer. And so your challenge is to find not only a candidate that can work in the role, but to get them through into an interview process with the employer, me. And I can be sometimes difficult to work, to be around or be able to work with, right? So you guys get that. I'm very picky because if you go by the old mantra of hire slowly, fire fast, this is one of the things I've always remembered. And I've gone through numerous business development managers. Brian, you are one of the best ones I've ever had, of course.
Sure.
And sometimes they, reached a certain point that it's not a long-term fit.
Yeah.
But any other comments on that in our challenge of hiring in Austin?
Yeah, well, I want to kind of add something to that. So I think, like you mentioned, we had one. So just to kind of give some backstory, we started out, it's been at least a few months, I believe. After a month or so, we found a candidate who was going to be a good fit, got them through a first interview, a second interview. They said, I only want to work from home. I need a month to get started. And they had all these requirements. And that's something that we see more and more of, that employees, they have more options now. So for you to say, here's the law, just stick to it and that's it, sometimes that may put you at a hindrance. So that is, something to watch out for. But, I think one of the things that we do that is so valuable to owners is that we protect them from themselves. We've worked with plenty of clients who they go through this and they've been doing it, 2 months, 3 months, and they're just burnt out. They're ready to just hire someone, get this off their plate, get it done with. And when you're in that type of, situation, you tend to make bad decisions, make a bad hire that ends up costing you more money in the long run. So what I tell clients when it is taking a few months, and I'm sure, Brad, we've had this conversation, is that, we want to make sure that we find you the right person. And we are really heavily invested in that because, our success is determined on their success. So we're, want to make sure that you find the right person who's going to work out long term and that you're not just hiring someone just to kind of get this off your plate. And I think sometimes managers will fall into that because, they're dealing with all these other things, and hiring can be a huge burden.
Enterprise Bank and Trust, the bank you all formerly knew as Seacoast Commerce Bank. With the same team, the same benefits, and an expanded and improved product suite. Enterprise Bank and Trust specializes in trust accounts and business banking for property managers. One of their best features is a cash analysis program where they can assist in paying your property management related invoices. Contact Allison at 619-988-6708 to learn more.
And personal experience on that. For example, this is years ago. Was just kind of starting off, and I would do interviews, and me being a positive person, I want to give you an opportunity. I think you're going to do a great job. I would just hire the first interview I had or the second interview. You know what I mean? Unless they just like completely bombed it.
Sure.
And I'm like, wait, doesn't make any sense. So I started to bring in some of my team members, especially the ladies. Ladies have like a sixth spidey sense. I can't describe it, but I'm telling you, it's a real deal. They have some sixth sense about people that is amazing. And so I started bringing several ladies, like Melanie, for example, or Amy on our team, and they would help me conduct the interviews. I might be talking 80% of the time, but they would just sit back and, give them and they would give me their opinion. So I really started to need that. Where I'm going with this is you guys are doing that for the employers. And so you guys are doing the interviews. Brian and Stephanie, you're going through the weeds to find the people that could actually be successful in that organization. Yeah. And you're eliminating the some that can't. And that's a huge time saver. And Brian, to your point, you're saving them from themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest things that, on the hiring side anyway, of what we're doing is just saving them a ton of time. If you're going to be sifting through resumes, sifting through interviews, I mean, Stephanie will tell you it is definitely a time consumer.
Yeah, we're still in the process of trying to nail down a good person for our Austin market. Again, it's not easy. We have a good ad out there. We raised the salary, right? We saw that.
Yes.
And we may have to give a few concessions here and there because meaning that like the work from home thing, like to me, I'm the very like, okay, you need to be to the office to, gel with the team, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of people have kind of been spoiled with the work from home thing. And so it's going to be a tough challenge to find that person. So going forward, right, assuming we make a hire sometime, in the near future and everything works out well, I want to transition and give you the floor to talk about your new offering. Yeah. So please go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, so we've recently launched our virtual sales manager. And what that is, we've had clients we work with, and our program is 4.5 months. And in that time, we hire a business development manager, spend 4 months training them. And we're going through every aspect of business development, making sure that your BDM knows exactly what they're doing. They know how to close leads, they know how to generate leads, and they are fully functioning in that position. But what clients were asking us is, what about ongoing? What happens after we're done with the program? So we took that as an indication to start the virtual sales manager. And what it is, it's weekly group meetings with other business development managers from across the country. We have a training topic each week. Last week we talked about giftology, and then we'll have a discussion after that. So we're giving a training each week. We're having an open discussion for folks to ask questions. And then one of the most important things that we do, and I think one of the biggest values of this program, is that we're tracking KPIs. We have an activity tracker that is tracking what your BDM's actually doing. We have a goal tracker that's tracking results. And we also have a sign-up tracker, which is kind of helping us understand where all these different sign-ups are coming from. But we give you these trackers, we explain how to use them, we ensure that your BDM is getting them filled out, and we use this to help facilitate our discussion in that, hey, you only made 15 calls this week, and, we can see it in the results later on down the road. So it's a great program for any business development manager who wants to get ongoing training. As far as a business owner is concerned, having your BDM fill out those KPI sheets, knowing what they're doing, what's working, what's not, that's a huge value on its own as well. So we're really excited about this. We've got about 8 or so current clients who are part of the virtual sales manager program. We're looking to get our first 20, fill up 2 classes for our first beta testers, and continue to grow it from there. But so far, we've seen some great results. We actually had a client in Los Angeles, and he was coming from another position internally, came to a few of our meetings, met with me a couple times one-on-one, and last month he signed up 22 units. Which has been their best month and so far this year anyway. So yeah, we're definitely really excited about it.
Yeah, I love this concept. And when you and I started to kick this around, I will take credit for about 3% of it as we whiteboarded this idea. But as soon as I heard about it and you guys actually put it together and created an offering, I'm like, yeah, sign up Will, our guy in RentWorks in San Antonio, because it gives him some format to get ideas from other markets.
Sure.
There could be just that light bulb moment where somebody in another market is saying, yeah, we do this, and we're helping generate more leads. And Will's like, I can do that. That's pretty easy. We can implement that system really easy. And then the KPIs, like Brian said, most property management company owners, when they hire a business development manager, they might micromanage a little bit, but are they micromanaging in the right way with the right KPIs? And this is what you guys teach them, right? This is how you train it. So I think it's a fantastic offering. Now, tell me more about that system, like what you have planned for the next few weeks. I mean, I want to learn more.
Sure. Okay. So if you get your BDM onboarded to our virtual sales manager, first thing we're going to do is have an onboarding meeting with them. We're going to show them the different trackers and how to get those filled out. We're going to send those trackers to you as the business owner, and we're going to instruct you to meet with your BDM each week, go through those, and have that meeting with them. Just that alone is so huge, and having those conversations and those conversations facilitated by our activity tracker. And then as far as, getting them onboarded, you hit on a great point, is that, in these discussions, we'll, like, for example, we talked about gift giving last week. and we're kind of went through a presentation and gave them some best practices. But those really great and kind of, wow ideas tend to come from others who are, actively doing it. So we had another client or a BDM out of Seattle, and he introduced a gift giving software, Postal.io, which is a great program that helps with gift giving. So just an example of how these training sessions kind of turn into discussions that can really, lead to some great things for these BDMs. Some of the secondary things that are a benefit to your business development manager are just that team, that camaraderie type of environment. So we have, a BDM comes on, just signed up 22 units, Logan in Beaufort, South Carolina. So they're coming in, they're excited about it. They get that team environment, which is really important for salespeople. It's as a property manager business, you're generally kind of on your own on an island. But this kind of gives you that group setting that can kind of give you some energy.
Yeah, that's a great point, honestly, because I wanted to hone in on that. We've talked about the challenges between sales and operations forever, right? Stephanie,
Sure.
You get this.
Yes.
And so imagine Beaufort, the guy from South Carolina, coming in and say, I just signed up 22 units. And what do the property managers do? You look at him like, you mother son
Right.
of a, all you did was jump. Yeah, you just dumped 22 homes of work on me, you a-hole. Yeah. And so it's tough to get that camaraderie, that fired up. And salespeople do need that.
Sure.
And it's also a little bit of competitiveness in there, right? A little bit
Absolutely.
of juice. And I love it. And we signed up right away, and it's a fantastic offering. Now,
Sure.
Stephanie, do you assist in kind of onboarding some of those? Because they don't have to necessarily go through you, right? You guys could pick up anyone who's doing business development. Now, you may have to teach them a little bit about the language that you use, but for the most part, Steph, you can onboard them correctly.
Absolutely. And that's something, yes, that we're actually transitioning to, is having me more involved in that. But yes, definitely. And personally, I love meeting with people. I'm a people person. So absolutely, this is something that, we're transitioning to.
All right, Brian, the tough question. And Stephanie, give me the cost.
Yeah, well, the cost is definitely attainable for most companies. It's $400 a month. So we are inviting folks to our group meetings. We're delivering our KPI trackers. We're helping with goal setting and tracking, and we're keeping your sales team energized. So for $400 a month, you are getting a sales manager, a position that is going to cost you, if you hired it for just your company, 70, 80, 100,000, depending on where you're at. We're giving you those resources and tools for a really, reasonable monthly charge.
Yeah, I think I always told you guys you're just too cheap on that, honestly, because $4,800 a year, and your business development manager goes out and signs up 2 more properties in an entire year, and it pays for itself just that first year.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a huge value there. And, as far as pricing goes, we are, that may change. We're working to get our first 20 into this program. So, the sooner you get into it, the sooner you can lock on that price. But yeah, things will certainly change in the future, as we continue to grow.
Yeah, I love that program. I'm hoping Will is taking advantage of that at RentWorks. And as we make our next hire in Austin, we're definitely going to sign up for that person to get in there.
Sure.
Not only does it assist with the onboarding and the training, but again, it gives them that environment, because that was the thing that's missing. A business development owner, a business owner has 100 things going on.
Sure.
And the management or the sales side of the business may not be their prime focus. They could be out doing other projects. They could be gone. They could be doing other things. And this is helping keep those business development folks accountable, because salespeople need that a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the challenge, Stephanie, we've seen is some people want to come in and get a salary and nurse it until they get fired. I don't know how else to say it with salespeople, but a salary? Yeah, I'll come in and I'll tell the business owner, I'm doing the best I can. I've only got, 1 lead this year. And, they just try to nurse it and kick it down the road, and they don't really show a lot of production, and you lose out. And this is where you guys come into play, not only in the beginning of the hiring, but to show that a proven background is going to relate into what they're doing today to make that an effective hire to help grow the business. And so it's a big part of it. So I think you guys are doing a great thing with this virtual sales manager. And in addition, I absolutely love the offering. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so tell me more about what you got cooking.
Well, I was just going to add on kind of what you were saying, Brad, is I think, I agree, some people do, there are different types of salespeople. And one of the questions I always ask is, tell me about your, sales quotas, tell me about your production. And that is something that really kind of lets me know, and especially not even just what their response to that question, but how do they respond? Are they nervous? Are they confident saying, yeah, this is what I've done? If they don't know their numbers, that's also a red flag. That's something that we ask and really hone in whenever we interview. And then I think that's also why it's so important to have those KPIs, so if they're measuring, if they're meeting those metrics. If you don't have any KPIs, you're not going to know what their goal is. If you don't have the CRM to, have the lead tracking in place, you're not going to know that. So just a comment, I think that's why it's also so important.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's what's missing in this. I mean, you mentioned a couple things. You got KPIs and CRMs and all this other stuff. And if you don't know what that means, that's fine, because this is why you would hire the BizDev Mastermind team. Is they show you what a customer resource management database looks like a Lead Simple or a Zoho or a Salesforce if you want to go over the top. We recommend Lead Simple because it is really effective for what we do. We have all the cadences built out, you guys do. In addition to the key performance indicators, you guys also provide them with those spreadsheets, with the method of that tracking. They don't have to create their own. You basically give them the formula from start to finish when they hire you. And I think that's hugely important. And it's also missed because people think, well, business development, I just take referrals and they just sign up under me. What do I need to hire you guys?
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, and I've told you this before, I think your services are undervalued. You're not charging enough for what you do with the BizDev Mastermind, because the capital value of adding 20 doors, 200 doors, 2,000 doors to your management company far exceeds like 1 to 100 of what they would spend in hiring you guys. And it seems like I'm like bragging about, all this for you, but I just don't know. I don't know if people understand that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to your point, we have raised prices a bit, so get on the bandwagon while you can before things change. And you're making a great point, Brad. But that being said, I think kind of going on with the value in talking about that. You talked about earlier as far as a salesperson taking a salary and kind of sitting on it. That's one of the things that we ensure is not going to happen by tracking their activity, what they're actually doing, and ensuring that we know quick if they're not going to be a good fit. But yeah, that's ultimately our goal with our clients, is helping them grow their property management business. And we've seen some awesome results. We've seen companies go from 88 units to 500 units in a couple of years. We've seen company, Greg Doring's company up in Austin, his BDMs bring on 300 units a year. And we've seen tons of results like that with each client that we work with who goes through this program. So we're really excited whenever we work with a new client, because it's not, is this going to work out? We know that you will see increases in business. It's just going to be a matter of how much. But it's really exciting when we see people really kind of go all into this program and see those results. And, a lot of times they become lifelong friends because, we've kind of accomplished that together. And it's a great feeling, great business model, and definitely a great value for our clients.
Well, I'm definitely excited about the virtual sales manager offering. I think that's fantastic. Obviously, we're all in on that one because there's nothing bad that can come out of it. So I would encourage everybody to check you guys out. Go to the bizdevmastermind.com. You have testimonials now posted, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah, go check them out. And we'd, happy to talk more with you.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on today. I just wanted to tell the world about this new service offering you guys have put out. I'm super excited about it. Our team is in it, and I think that's going to generate well more than what we spend on that per month. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and talking about it. And I would encourage everybody to give you an opportunity to talk to you further about it. Talk to Brian, talk to Steph, book a time with them, and see if it's a right fit for you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks for having us, Brad. We'd definitely, you can shoot me an email, brian@bizdevmastermind.com, or visit us on our website.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing you guys at the Property Manager Mastermind Conference in Nashville, the end of March in 2023. So it's going to be a fantastic conference as always. Look forward to seeing you then. And till then, we'll see you around campus.
All right. See you then.
Thank you, Brian.
Need a repair at 2 a.m.? Easy does it. Easy Repair coordinates maintenance and nothing else, and takes after-hour maintenance calls for property managers, working with your property management software, so you can see exactly what Easy is doing without leaving your own software. From Las Vegas, Nevada, our full-time maintenance coordinators will dispatch your work orders directly with your vendors. Give us a call at 800-488-6032 or visit our website, easyrepairhotlinellc.com.
This has been a podcast episode by PropertyManagementProductions.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave us feedback, and come back for our next episode.